Did you know that traditional IQ tests are heavily dependent on crystallized knowledge, meaning that they often test what a child has learned in a US classroom rather than their raw potential to learn? Well, research by Alan and Kaufman suggests that to truly measure intelligence in a diverse society, we must minimize the cultural load of the test. Well, this is the philosophy behind the KABC-II. If you are an NRI parent, this test is your best friend. Unlike the WISC-V, which relies heavily on verbal explanation, the KABC-II allows children to demonstrate brilliance through patterns, memory, and logic, often without saying a word. So hi, I'm Gurpreet from Wizdomi, and we specialize in personalized one-on-one live tuition for K-12 and competitive exam preparation. So today I'm going to decode the Kaufman Assessment Battery for Children, 2nd edition. I'll explain why this test asks your child to speak Atlantis fish language, the difference between the Luria and CHC scoring models, and how to interpret the results for gifted placement. First, what is the KABC-II? Well, it's published by Pearson Clinical and conducted strictly by licensed school psychologists or clinical psychologists. It's a clinical instrument used to measure cognitive ability and processing skills for children of the ages 3 to 18. It's widely used in USA and Canada for identifying gifted and talented students, especially those from bilingual backgrounds, and for diagnosing learning abilities. So the KABC-II is famous for being culturally fair. Now the test feels like a series of games. It measures 5 scales: sequential processing, simultaneous processing, learning planning, and knowledge. Now, for example, in the triangle subtest, children assemble blue and yellow from shapes to match a picture. Now, in Atlantis, they learn nonsense names for fish pictures. So this, I would say, is definitely critical. The psychologist can score the test in 2 ways. The CHC model includes all 5 scales, including knowledge. The Luria model excludes the knowledge scale. So this is used for bilingual or NRI students to remove language bias. You cannot register for this test. You must request an evaluation through the school district or hire a private clinical psychologist. Private evaluations can cost somewhat between $500 to $2,500. So can you study for the KABC-II? Well, no. It is a protected clinical test. However, you can build the underlying skills. Play memory games where you give funny names to toys. Use tangrams to practice geometry. On exam day, the psychologist will usually spend the first 5-10 minutes just building rapport so that the child feels comfortable. Now for the results, you will receive standard scores. The average is about 100. So if the Luria model was used, you get an MPI, that is Mental Processing Index. If the CHC model was used, you get an FCI, Fluid Crystallized Index. A score of 130 or above is considered gifted. And in the USA, the KABC-II is often the second line of defense if a child fails a group screener. In Canada, it's preferred for recent immigrants. So let's answer the 5 common questions. Is KABC-II better than WISC-V? Well, for children with language barriers, often yes. My child is shy, will they fail? No, the test allows for pointing. Why did we get an MPI score? Because the psychologist excluded vocabulary to be fair enough. Can we retake it? Well, for that you must wait for 12 to 24 months. How can Wizdomi help? Now we offer cognitive enrichment that strengthens the muscles used in the KABC-II. So, the KABC-II is a celebration of different ways of thinking, whether your child thinks in pictures, patterns, or stories. This test gives them a chance to shine. So if you are navigating the complex world of psychoeducational evaluations and need guidance, just click the link below to book a consultation with Wizdomi. So I'm Gurpreet, and I'll see you in the next video.